Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino, and I missed you. I missed all of you, and that's the truth. I feel kind of like, displaced a little bit when I don't do a video on Saturday. I don't know, maybe we'll change that at one point. Let's talk, you and me. There's so much going on right now. This today is my newest segment of Markets, a Look Ahead, and it is Sunday, August 29th, 2021. So people, this is what I'd like to do. Before we look ahead, we need to look back. What's going on? What just happened last week? Well, a pretty big event occurred. This highly anticipated announcement from Jackson Hole. What a name, from Jackson Hole. Anyway, it is a hole occupied by a criminal cartel that seriously has set a new standard around the world, and that is the Federal Reserve. People, this is public enemy number freaking one. Every single thing that is going on right now with our economy, including the scamdemic, is the result of a plan that has been put in effect by the Federal Reserve 100 years ago, over 100 years ago, and they are working diligently day and night to fulfill their final solution, people, to be the ruler of the world via issuing debt, a continuing mechanism here that will not stop. And that's pretty much what we heard last week. I told all of you, we were hearing all this rhetoric. You had these freaks on one hand from the Federal Reserve and these other freaks on the other side, back and forth. We're going to taper. We're not going to taper. We're going to taper. We're going to taper. Not going to taper. Duh. I told all of you it's not going to happen. And what we got was a Federal Reserve thing, chairperson Powell. Look, you all know nobody in the world, I don't think, detests the Federal Reserve more than I do, because I understand at their core what a hideous institution they are and what they are doing, what they're trying to pull off very successfully. It's going on around the world here, creating not just, a world of slaves, nation slaves, individual slaves, but they're in the process of owning it all. Owning it all via their mechanism. Central banks issuing debt in epic amounts. It's not going to stop. And it's too much to watch this unfold. And the zombies out there, there's a window over there and a window over here. Well, maybe not. You figure that one out. Anyway, it's just totally insane. You see all these people in these windows? Most of them have no clue. They have no clue as to what's going on. They just walk through time and space thinking everything is real. And it is not real. Anyway, going back to what's going on here. So we found out this big meeting from up Jackson's Hole. The Fed is in no hurry at all to raise rates. And I already explained to you how the Fed is going to play this out. I have their playbook. I don't know another way to put it. I have it. And they're going to initially, just nudge that federal funds rate slightly higher. When? I don't know. Probably not anytime soon. But the market is going to react positively to that. Mark my words. Once we get a nudging higher of the federal funds rate, the market is more than likely going to surge higher at that point. With regard to asset purchases, a completely different thing. Okay, not going to happen for the foreseeable future. And that's really what Yellowstone Powell laid out the groundwork for last week. They're not going to stop. Their mission is to continue to buy assets, and that's what they're going to do in greater and greater amounts. I don't care what comes out of their mouth. You know that. You and I are going to be able to literally see with our own eyeballs what the Fed is doing when they decide to really, stop asset purchases, cut back on. We'll be able to see this in real time by looking at the action in the debt market or the 10-year yield and the dollar. Period. You see, so people have no idea what to look at, but we do. We know what to look at. I don't care what they say. Okay? Like I told you, Yellowstone Powell could knock on my door this morning, right now, ring my bell, come in here and have a little sit down with me and try to explain to me, Greg, yeah, you know what? We're gonna be cutting back on asset purchases. I would just backhand him across the face. That would be number one. Okay. Number two, I would say, yeah, sure you are. And then I would kick him in his rear end so hard out my door, I might, he would be tasting my foot in his mouth. That's how far up his rear end it would go. That's the truth. Anyway, you all know that. Anyway, so let's move forward. So we have that whole thing with the Jackson's Hole thing. All right. Then they're in no rush. So obviously the market loved that. We had a new record high for the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. This market keeps marching higher no matter what's thrown at it. They can shut down the economy, stock market goes higher. This is the mechanism here of the Federal Reserve buying it all. Issuing debt through one door, buying it back through another door, massively inflationary. We're seeing inflation surge at its fastest pace ever in history. But again, the Federal Reserve, they're not done. They don't care. They don't care about this. Although Yellowstone Powell did express concern about the pace of inflation. It don't matter. Do you think that because he's expressing concern about this that they're going to stop? Absolutely freaking not. They're going to continue to buy assets. And I'm going to tell you something else. This is how it's going to play out, like I just alluded to. So we're going to see that the federal funds rate be nudged off of zero at one particular time. Really? Oh, it's going to be nudged off of zero. Oh, wow. What a big, humongous thing. And then, we're going to see the 10-year yield drop, not go higher, drop. And that mechanism is going to, again, force cash into risk assets, stock market. It's going to go higher. So with that said, we know where the market's going to go for the most part. Now, we have a few other things. I wrote these down. Number one, like I said, Fed is in no rush to raise rates. Unrest here in the Middle East, like we're seeing, new airstrikes. This is going to keep crude propped up. If you don't understand what's going on over there, you should. If you've been watching my video blog for the longest time, this whole nonsense thing with Afghanistan and everything else that's going on, it's being done deliberately, like everything else. The military-industrial complex for which the Fed is running and the Wall Street banks are all a major part of, okay? It doesn't matter. I mean, they could have been giving orders to a donkey sitting behind the Resolute desk, and that person, whoever sits there, the thing, will carry them out, okay? We have no representation. It's the banks that run the entire world, the military-industrial complex, period, the end. Part of that is to keep propping up crude oil. So the Middle East unrest is pretty much a guarantee. It's a lock that crude will stay higher. Now, we also found out, we get this hurricane here about to hit the Gulf. Well, oil producers are cutting back on production by 91% on crude oil. So what do you think that's going to do? You think that's going to make crude go lower? How about no? Crude is going to go up. It's going to, pull the energy sector higher, financial sector, and the market's going to get all giddy and go up. And people, look, this is simple. All this is easy. If you understand what's going on, really, if you know what's happening, if you realize the drivers here, that it is the banks running the entire show, the entire world, they're buying it all, they're taking over, they dictate the rules, nothing else matters here. And the distortions that exist in this market, like I covered on Friday, if you haven't seen the video I did post-market on Friday, watch it. The distortions that exist across the spectrum of asset classes and everything that's going on in our free-fall economy, which is shrinking at an astonishing pace. Okay, our debt to GDP ratio is out of control. It's about to get much worse, much worse, exponentially worse. So our economy is not just cratering, it's shrinking massively as a percentage of GDP, but you're not supposed to know that. You're not allowed to know these things, okay? The only people that probably do are you, the ones that follow this blog. I don't know, another person that's talking about these things. Look, most people out here on YouTube or wherever they might be, they're not analysts, okay? I am an analyst. I'm a trader as well. Most analysts are traders. and they understand, they're into the market and every aspect of it because they know how to capitalize on it, because they understand the big picture. And that's all I do. I study the big picture. Okay, I am a macro guy, and then I kind of zero in on everything. And look, that's the way it's going to go for you and me. That's how we're staying ahead of the curve. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. So we know what we're doing, why we're doing it. Period. The end. So if we understand this current situation of easy money for as far as the eyeballs can possibly see, going beyond Pluto, and the debt problem here, the contraction of the economy, the hyper bubble in debt here, what do you want to do? You want to sit back and do nothing, or you want to capitalize on it? And you do that by following this blog, understanding what's going on, subscribing to my free newsletter, hint, link in description of this video. Everything you need is on my website here, traderschoice.net. We're going to beat the living crap out of this market beyond the point of belief. Okay, because we got it covered from every angle, whether we're in the stock market, whether we're in derivatives of the stock market. I'm an options player. Okay, those are derivatives. Whether we're stacking precious metals, whether we're buying cryptocurrencies, whether we're buying the dips in crude oil, all this stuff I lay out for you every day. Okay, it's not for my benefit. Okay, it's for you. I legitimately care about you from my heart, really seriously. And I can't see a reason why we can't all win. I sincerely hope you are taking action and you're using the information that I'm giving you in these, because you're not going to get this anywhere else. I'm telling you right now, you're not going to. Using the information I put out here to think about what you need to do, okay? Research what I explained to you. Don't just take anything I say at face value, all right? Look into it yourself, obviously. Make up your own mind as to what you think you should be doing. You understand? I think it's pretty simple. All right, and I think your conclusions are going to be, you know what? Greg is kind of on point, and maybe I should follow his lead here. Anyway, all right, people, look, this guy honestly loves you a lot from the heart. I mean it. I'm going to ask you to sincerely do me a favor, and that is share this video. There is a thumbs up down here. I love seeing those thumbs up, okay? Please give me a thumbs up. Share this video on your social networks, everywhere. Get it out there. Let more people at least hear this stuff. Some people are going to get blindsided by it. They're going to hear this stuff. They're not even going to understand it. Because, again, they're living in some kind of distorted reality, believing that what everything is going on is just by accident. Nothing here is by accident. Everything that is going on, the Federal Reserve inflating, central banks around the world continuing to issue debt in greater and greater amounts, the suppression of interest rates, the elimination of an entire class of people, the middle class, the creation of this new two-tier society. I explained to you what happened from a decade ago. It's in our face, people. It's in our face. I don't have a crystal ball. That's the truth. But I am able to put these things together and come out with the most likely outcomes. And for the most part, by and large, I have really, really been correct. Any one of you that have been with me for a length of time can attest to that. And again, I am no smarter than you or anyone else. I just am immersed in this and I study it. I find it fascinating. I find it interesting. I also find it disgusting and revolting. But understanding the mechanism here allows you and I to gain a perspective on what we should be doing. Period. And I promise, as I always have, to keep you so far ahead of the curve that it's just frankly incredible. All right, I'm out of here. Very long video. See you in the morning.